no way. It's way too much damage. Stop him with the block! He found Churchill!
Oh, he found
wow.
Wow.
Oh, what?
Somewhere there's a covert muffin just applauding this seed.
Holy crap.
Oh man, this is gonna come down to execution in the final escape, isn't it?
Sure is.
Every seed
Our
does.
favorite phrase.
Oh, welcome to the Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer Tournament 2021. Got a featured matchup for you today in the preliminaries. EVOrder versus LostDedew. Should be a good one. Had a chance to talk to the runners before the race. Evo said nerves have been kind of hitting him in the previous races. His goal is kind of don't screw up too much. You got this, Evo. We believe in you. He had better goals, but he's kind of got his expectations tempered a little bit given some of his play. As for Dedew, Evo says that he's fast, doesn't know too much about how he handles Rando though, so it's hard to say how the matchup's going to go. Knowing how he's placed in some of the races though, he does expect a tough match. Dedew has also mentioned that he feels that he has struggled a little bit as well, so a little bit of confidence lacking at the moment for both the runners, but it is the preliminary stage, plenty of opportunity for them to start to settle into the tournament. As far as something that might give Evo an edge, he couldn't really say. He's kind of hoping grenade jumps aren't given early. He's been a little bit inconsistent with those at the moment. Dedew's a little nervous as well, feeling like he might get randoed again, but he's still got some confidence coming in. Doesn't really have goals so much for the preliminary section. He's aiming for the top 5, but doesn't know if he's going to have time to dedicate to get to that level. Mostly, he just doesn't want to get eliminated in the first round of the bracket stages. Last time in qualifiers, he was the rank 1 seed and he got knocked down in the very first round. So Dedew's looking for a little bit of redemption here. We'll get going in about a minute or so. Just want to remind you of the preliminary format here. We've got a minimum of 5 seeds that all the racers must play if they want to qualify for the bracket stages. We've got a whole bunch of races, by the way, coming up right here on the SpeedGaming network of channels this weekend. 11 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. Eastern on Saturday and Sundays. We'll have 6 total more matches coming for you. If you're interested in joining the randomizer, just go to OriRandom.com and make sure that you go ahead and follow the runners. If you haven't seen Ori and the Blind Forest before, it is a 2D platformer Metroidvania with a focus on movement over combat. Metroidvania being where you go to one place to get a skill, and that unlocks other places that you can go to get more skills and so on and so forth to be able to finish the game. The randomizer functions basically in the same way, with all the pickups being placed randomly throughout the world: health cells, energy cells, ability cells, the skills, dungeon keys, etc. The logic is written in such a way that it functions basically like you would expect out of a casual playthrough. It expects you to go and find some skills placed in the first 4 pickups, or a teleporter or something, and then it will have a sequence of progression from there. So it should be a pretty exciting match. Hoping to get a little bit of speed here, maybe a little bit of trolling as well. We saw yesterday with the 2kill, by the way, joining me on commentary. Had a Valley long swim seed with Sunstone being the forced progression there, and the runners didn't find clean water. So it is entirely possible that we're going to get a few rude locations. The runners obviously hoping for a nice seed, but us as viewers and commentators wouldn't mind a little bit of trolling here and there.
Yeah, I'm to kill, and we're starting the race. On the left, you can see Evo, on the right, Dedew, and we will see what the first few pickups will be. I myself hope for maybe not another charge jump start. We've had plenty of those in the preliminary so far. And it's another charge jump start, so I kind of cursed it with that call. But we'll see how they will progress and what else they will find. So
Yeah, it can be a little scary doing charge jump only black route. So it'll depend on what we see in the next few pickups here. Charge jump being the only thing of note. The energy cell that you saw them cross in front of is not randomized because, as it turns out, playing without energy feels extremely awful. So we make sure that the runners have at least 1 energy. Also have wind restored underneath sign here, the basic attack ability in the game. You will see all runners acquiring this skill. And in the randomizer, we have decided, in order to make things a little bit interesting, for a goal mode, the runners must visit all 10 of the vanilla skill tree locations, not including a sign. So you got your wall jump, dash, sea flame, bash, double jump, stomp, feather, climb, charge jump, grenade, and of course dash, which it appears to do on the right side of your screen is going to be dipping straight into Blackroot after checking that Frankie Walk pickup. In the meantime, Evo on the left side, kind of hoping maybe get a couple extra keystones here. Ooh, it does get the Mega Health, which is quite nice. That'll allow him to check an out of logic pickup on here, affectionately known as Long Flippers, a reference to the Link to the Past random.
Meanwhile, on the right, Dedew couldn't quite get into Blackroot Burrows. There is a quite long cutscene when you enter that area, and he didn't have an ability point to do a trick called Save Anywhere to skip that cutscene. So he was killing some slimes, and now he has entered and successfully skipped that cutscene. He's making his way down and picking up some one-offs, namely a map stone, and he's going to pick up a light here soon that will guide his way through this dark area. On the left, Evo is now following onto Blackroot Burrows. He just leveled up as well, although it was his 2nd level, so he can definitely do this Save Anywhere trick as well, and he successfully does it.
Yeah, Evo was kind of looking to get an extra keystone there to head directly into Glades, hoping for something to assist with a Blackroot, quite possibly, but it is a forced Blackroot start. The Save Anywhere trick that you're going to be seeing a whole bunch throughout the course of this race, by the way, is just where we trick the ability menu into thinking that we have closed it when we in fact have not, and that allows us to gain control of Ori, moving behind the ability menu, level up a skill, and that saves the game and allows us to do a whole bunch of funny tricks and stuff, but is predominantly used for skipping cutscenes. Dedew on the right side has also picked up a map stone from the top experience. The way the map stones work is you turn that in. You can basically consider it to be like an IOU ticket that you'll get at an arcade or something, and you turn that into an altar anywhere in the world, and it will give you a pickup sequentially in order. So, for example, if the first return on investment was a health cell, you could turn that into Glades or Blackroot or Swamp or whatever. It doesn't matter. It would always be a health cell off the start. Dedew's got a few seconds advantage here in the early going, checking Blackroot, largely because Evo did decide to go and check the 2 keystones over in Glades.
Yeah, Dedew also took a quick death going up Blackroot, but that didn't stop him in any way. Evo also had some troubles, as charge jump only in this area can be quite harsh. They need to damage boost past some spikes to get back up, and that can definitely be dangerous, especially if you only have 3 HP.
Yeah, Evo's going to catch up here in quick order and actually take a bit of a lead, as he's got the extra ability points from that Glades dip, allowing him to stack the cutscenes here, whereas Dedew's going to be forced to watch the darkness be lifted. He's going to get stalled again as he jumps here, has to pause and look up at the tree. In the meantime, Evo, left side of your screen, is going to be able to walk over the top of these crushers and check the pickup in behind while the cutscenes are playing. It is an ability cell, always nice to have some of those for more cutscene skips and etc. Finishes the cutscene stack by standing in a specific spot, and it's grenade on the dash tree. Always nice to have early blue breakage, and these are rando seeds.
Yeah, and grenade and charge jump in particular are 2 of 3 parts for a trick called grenade jumps, and there is a full-on teleporter right there. So Fallen Ruins is an area that we don't quite often see in the randomizer. There are 3 main dungeons in the game: Fallen Ruins, the Ginso Tree, and Mount Horu. For this randomizer seed to be completed, we only need to visit Ginso Tree and Mount Horu, so Fallen Ruins aren't necessarily needed, and most runners don't want to go there fairly often, but an early teleporter in there could indicate that the runners need to go there in order to find progression.
Yeah, the runners aren't going to want to go there, like you alluded to. There's no objective there in the format that we're using, needing to go and access all the vanilla skill tree locations. Nothing exists in Forlorn that matches that objective. So the runners are going to be pushing for some of these early trees here. They do have access to all 3 of the early trees, Dash, Sea Flame, and Wall Jump. And whenever they acquire 3 trees, so trees 3, 6, and 9, it'll get a clue for where one of the dungeon keys are. So it could be fairly important to have the Gumon Seal hint here in the early going, especially with that early Forlorn teleporter, so the runners can kind of get a bead on where the seed might want them to take. Altar here from Evo, that is a keybind we use to return to start. So if you hear us say Alt-R, that's what we mean, it's return to start. And that's just something that we've implemented to make things go a little bit faster and also prevent some soft locks. Check the grenade pickup here, it's just 25 experience to do. Hot on Evo's tail, but we'll have to spend a little bit of extra time checking the 2 keystones here.
Yeah, they finally got more than 2 keystones, both of our runners having 3, or Evo now having 1 after he opened that door. So that can progress further into the glades. And Evo decides to go to the Charge Flame tree immediately. This is an area he can easily clear now with the grenades that will break those blue walls you see. And he will get his second tree right here. And
Interestingly enough, oh, Dedew didn't get out of the water in time. Right side of your screen took a death. That's going to cost him quite a few seconds. He's going to have to check some of these pickups again. Does recover the keystone that's there past the boulder escape. So Evo widening the gap a little bit here with just a little bit of cleaner play. Though interestingly enough, that mega health that they picked up, neither of the runners decided to check long flippers. They went and saw the mega energy and immediately opted to bail out. So could be something hidden deep underwater there. So far, nothing on these 2 pickups here or at the Charged Flame tree besides some resources. The whole right side of the map is open up for these runners, by the way, to kill through the Spider Sack area. So a whole bunch of pickups available to them. It could be a while before we see some progression.
yeah, Evo on the left, however, found another 2 keystones. So he was able to open yet another door in the glades and check some more pickups here. And we will see if that holds progression or whether the runners need to dig some more into the right side. As you mentioned, that could take some time, but maybe it will be a fast seed and they will find what they need earlier rather than later.
Do also often go for the Charged Flame tree early, in all likelihood thinking about getting that first clue as soon as possible. I like the right routing from that from both of the runners, just getting the tree immediately out of the way. Evo did open up the Spirit Caverns door ahead of time. We'll see whether or not Dedew decides to do the same thing as Evo drops down towards the wall jump tree. Does not get Flower Skip. That's alright. Picks up a health to make things just a little bit safer in case of some spaghetti. And just a lot of experience here early on could be an indicator, possibly, of dash forthcoming our way, because the randomizer will expect you to be able to level up to air dash on the blue branch of the ability tree.
And they get yet another keystone and our first clue that the Gilmon seal is in Blackroot Burrows. As we saw, the top part of Blackroot Burrows already completed. That means it's in the lower part. But as mentioned before, the Gumon seal just opens the Fallen Runes, which are not necessary to, not necessarily needed to complete this randomizer seed. And they get yet another keystone, but they are only at 3, which means they can't open the top door of the glades, which means progression is potentially somewhere else, although he has some 4 more checkups to do and gets an energy cell, which is always nice as it allows some more saving on the go, some safety saves, to make sure that deaths aren't as costly as they could be. And we will see on the last pickup if it's another keystone or not. And it's not another keystone, meaning they can't open that 4 keystone door on the top and progress further to the right via that. So we will see how they have to do that.
Yeah, so they'll have to double back here through the Sea Flame tree and charge jump up through the floor. You do have the skills available to do that. Obviously, Dedew did take a whole bunch of deaths in Spirit Caverns and gets sniped by a slime. And is sent all the way back to Spirit Caverns, gets absolutely obliterated by projectiles again. The nerves hitting Dedew perhaps a little bit here, getting Infinity in Spirit Caverns, not being able to make his way down to the wall jump tree and the gap opening up wider. for Evo is he goes into Valley Entry, jumping over the teleporter to skip the cutscene for the time being. Does whiff on the grenade throw, trying to lure this Frankie and kill a bird at the same time. There we go. The Frankie destroys the floor now, and he'll pop down, check what it is. It is experience. What is the grenade throw? Evo, show us. It is an invincible plant. Try it one more time. The keystone. And
That's,
he's going to
however,
decide
the
to
fourth
scum it,
keystone.
actually. Yeah, it is the fourth keystone, but he does decide to scum it because he doesn't need the keystone to open the Spirit Cavern's door, obviously, and doesn't want to watch the cutscene or spend ability points coming the way back to skip the teleporter. Dedew finally surviving to getting down to the wall jump tree. He's going to get the clue for the Gumon Seal here in short order. What do you think, to Kill, of just playing aggressive? They don't have logical access to Lower Blackroot right now to go find that Gumon Seal, but what do you think about making an aggressive forlorn play here right now?
Well, they could definitely do it. They have a lot. They don't have a lot of resources. There's only 3 HP still, and 2 energy cells on both sides. So, as Dedew already showed, it's fairly hard to go through the world right now, as almost everything kills you. So that could, as Forlorn has some easily accessible pickups, as it is not designed to be done with a lot of skills. This could potentially hold progression, but we will see what the runners decide. As mentioned before, Forlorn isn't one of the necessary regions to visit, so players often decide to not go there. As Evo makes his way further into this section, we will see if he finds anything useful here. There isn't. Takes a death swim. And
Yeah, unfortunately, not having wall interaction here. You got to be real careful jumping across these I-beams. Sorry to interrupt, but I did want to make note that there is a map stone to the left side of that spider sack drop area, and Evo has decided to skip it. Progression could very well be on map stones, but it is very difficult to get out of there with just charge jump only for the time being. He's decided to orphan it.
yeah, on the right we just see Dedew trailing behind Evo, and he will find the same resources Evo did, which were not a lot, but there's wall jump, so that is finally some wall interaction, which will make traversing Nibel easier and faster as well, and make more pickups accessible. They might decide to head, I think, Grotto now, but we will see as they decide.
In the meantime, Dedew in the spider sack area is going to find out about this map stone as well. Whether or not he'll go for the precise wall jump or immediately scum it, he's going to try it at least once. So the charge jump, rather. Nope. He alt-ard. He was indecisive about that. He alt-ard for just a second and has opted to let it go for now. Warmth returned on Evo's side is a very comfy pickup, but doesn't really do a whole lot for the runners. It is the last event that you get in the vanilla game when you activate the final escape. So he does decide to keep it, wants to play a little bit more cozy. And as he predicted to, Killev was going to be dropping directly down into Grotto. This is a very dense area. They do have blue breakage available to them. There are quite a few plants to be able to check as well. So oftentimes what you'll see runners do is try and figure what the most dense area of pickups is that they can go to. So that they can check as many things as possible in a shorter time frame and try and find the next bit of progression. But having wall jump obviously makes things just a little bit more comfy to do. Is going to have to watch this cutscene once again.
And we will see whether this might be the first divergence our runners take. So far they have basically visited the same area as the logic required them to do. And I think Dedew might also go via this iceless section now into Grotto. Yes, he's heading there, although he decides not to do the same trick Evo did. Because he needs to check some more pickups, or maybe he decides to go some other route. On the left, Evo doesn't really find anything useful right now, just some more resources. Still no fourth health cell for both our runners, so that will definitely be a resource that might be a problem later, but it's definitely a problem for now, as you have to be very careful of what you do.
Yeah, speaking of that fourth health, you saw Evo on the left side of your screen pick up a health regeneration pickup. Not in the base game, it is a randomizer specific bonus pickup, and it does, as long as it's not going to one-shot you down to 3 health, it does give you an effective fourth health. So he was able to take that swim underwater and check the pickup and the health regen ticking up, because it turns out if you have a non-zero value of health, you do not die. And health regen gives you non-zero values of health. Does decide to scum the pickups here in the Grotto Vault area that he checked briefly. Nothing really of note there. Did pick up a map stone, however, and the first one is just 62 experience. Have to keep an eye on the map stone count for sure, and that one map stone snookered away over in the spider sack area. Dedew did not have energy to place a save and get over through Iceless, or obviously, as you said, the health for the 3 damage boosts there. So he is going to opt to go for the outer swamp loop, might get a few more checks there. Evo, in the meantime, dropping down to that mapstone check, does pick up Charge Flame. Some runners will decide to skip the Grotto mini-boss, and Evo is one of them. He decides that even though he has the skills to make the fight relatively quick, it's still a little bit slow, and he's going to head off to the double jump tree and get a bit of a tree vantage here over to do.
On the right, Dedew also now found Mega Health, which is a non-permanent item, also added to the randomizer. It gives you 5 HP that you can lose by damaging, and as you can see, he already lost some to spikes, so it was a nice, quick little help. It didn't last long, but we'll see if he finds a permanent health cell somewhere or some other progression over Evo, who is now making his way to the double jump tree. But at least both our runners have a lot of keystones. That might come in handy later, as there are some keystone doors they have to open in order to finish the seed. And although you can always key duplicate keys, it's usually a pretty long and not so easy maneuver to do. So yeah, on the right, Dedew also now decides to head into the swamp, or well, realizes he can't do it. He just checked some pickups there, as Evo on the left is going through Death Gauntlet.
Dedew has logical 4th energy now. I don't believe Evo was able to check the pickups that are locked behind the 4 energy door down there in Grotto Vault, so potential advantage to do on that front if he's able to swing his way down and something is in fact there. Out of logic check here from Evo in the swim, does find Stomp. That's going to make things very nice and comfy. I was going to mention he did have access through a lower route to get to the Stomp tree over in Thornfelt Swamp, but now having Stomp, he can take the top route instead and gain relatively quick access there. We have not seen Dedew even head in the direction of Death Gauntlet yet, as he's going to be coming up on this teleporter and heading left. A decision will need to be made. Will he head to Death Gauntlet and find Stomp, or is he going to drop down, opening up the save anywhere? And tells me he's going to be dropping down and bash over to the left of the teleporter. Evo picking it up with a damage boost, throwing a grenade, and getting back out. That is a massive pickup for Evo on the left side of your screen.
Yeah, Bash, especially in combination with Grenade, is one of the most powerful tools in the entirety of the randomizer, as Bash allows you to bash off, as in take a projectile or an enemy, throw it to one side and bash it themselves off to the other side. And since Grenade acts as a projectile and is free in the randomizer, in the base game it would cost blue energy cells, but in the randomizer it was made free. You have now basically unlimited options, well, almost unlimited options to go through the world, so that will be very powerful.
Smooth set of pickup checks here by Evo on the left side. Does opt to take the lower route and just double back super quick to check a couple more pickups, AC and the plant over there at the top swamp entry. Just finding a few more resources. Up on 6 health. Dedew still on 3, but does have the 4 energy advantage. We'll see whether or not Grotto Vault pays off for him in a few moments, as Evo does pick up another health cell. Quite nice, very comfy. Runners still at this point to kill. Looking for left side access. They do have the ability to get to all of the trees now on the right side, even though the light grenade tree would be technically out of logic still at this point without dash. But Evo, with some damage boost strats, if he wanted to play super aggressive, could start pushing left side here in short order as well.
Yeah, definitely. There are a few trees on the left side that are not very easy to pick up at this stage, namely the climb tree and the charge jump tree. And there's climb, which opens up yet another amazing strategy to traverse Nibel very quickly, because they now have three of three parts of what we call grenade jumps, where you charge jump a charge up a charge jump, throw a grenade, and basically right behind it jump, so you get enormous movement speed.
Yeah, and Dedew had to wait for a little second there. Does have an energy regen, I believe just energy regen 1 at the moment, but he did pause at the door. Didn't quite have enough energy in order to be able to come down here into Grotto. We'll see what it is Evo missed. It is an ability cell and some experience, so no joy for Dedew on progression here. We know, logic or not, that progression is currently situated over on Bash. That is in logic for a 3 damage boost, by the way. That was a change that was made in the 3.0 version of the randomizer, increasing logical damage boosts from 2 HP to 3 HP. A couple small deaths here from Dedew on the right side. Not a big deal. Doesn't want to keep the pickups anyway. And with Bash and Stomp, actually, I need to correct myself. They do have logical access to the left side of the map, and it appears as though Evo is heading exactly in that direction. Wants to push trees, wants to get those clues and find out where the Water Vein and Sunstone are.
Yeah, do you think that could be go mode for Evo? He has a comfy amount of health. He does not have 4 energy cells, but that could be easily picked up. And he now has almost all the skills in the game to easily get wherever he wants. He's missing double jump, which is convenience. He's missing glide, which could make Sorrow Pass easier. And he's missing dash, which just makes traversing the whole thing faster. Do you think he could decide to just go for all the trees, find the clues, and if he needs one of the remaining skills to complete everything, he might search for it?
I think Sorrow Pass is kind of Evo's main concern at this point. He does have a reasonable amount of health, does know how to get up into Sorrow Pass, but he's got enough ability cells to do zombie ori strats as well. It's definitely within Evo's skill range to decide to go for that. I would imagine he's probably going to pick up Feather and then maybe go down and hit Grenade first, see if he can find anything down there, and then make his decision from that point. But if it comes down to it, Evo is completely capable of pushing towards the end of the seed here now with grenade jumps and bash, that's for sure. Dedew, right side of your screen, finally making his way down to the double jump tree, taking a few more unfortunate deaths. I can tell the nerves are settling in, which is understandable for sure. Wanting to improve that preliminary standing. Will get his 4th treat here. And notably, none of the runners have gone to Forlorn yet. Still potentially in logic on Evo's side. There are a couple pickups that he can check in lower Blackroot now that he has Stomp and Climb Charge Jump as well.
Yeah, he's making his way through the valley next to his next tree, and he picks up double jump, which is a very nice skill, making a lot of traversal far more easy. And he's making heavy use of it right now because it's just such a great skill to have, and it gives you a little bit more of airtime when you need it. And he's heading to the rocks above Kuro's head to destroy them and get his next quote-unquote tree, which is a feather.
Dedew's going to drop a save here and pick up Stomp in the Water Swim, and we'll be doubling back through Death Gauntlet, having an opportunity to check the pickup to the left of that teleporter, which is Bash, as Evo does destroy the rocks above Kuro's head and gets Ye Old Owl to fly away. A little bit more damage here from Dedew. He's gonna opt for a teleporter save at a refill. Yep, that's exactly... No, he's teleporting away. Oh, Dedew. No, Dedew. Bash is right there.
Well, that's quite unfortunate. That is what you might call getting randoed, when you just have that one pickup. Oh, and the Sunstone is in Forlorn, so our runners need to go there. Okay, that is very interesting, and that might actually be a turning point, as Dedew is heading into lower Blackroot and might find the Gumon seal earlier. Although with the teleporter, they obviously don't need it, but it's always nice to know that it is early in the logic. And Evo is right behind him, doing his black root entering, and he is heading to some extra pickups. Oh no, actually to the tree first with some grenade jumps. So we'll see them getting heavily used by him to get through those lasers. Doesn't get it first try. Goes for another try. Not quite there. It's a really finicky setup, so missing this is definitely in the ordinary. And he gets it and is now going for that grenade tree, using again a save anywhere to skip a cutscene.
Synced actions there on the runners just momentarily. Obviously, Evo is going to be able to grenade jump up here. Dedew is going to have to do a little bit more of a difficult strat. Needs to time a jump here as the laser is spinning, and then he can charge jump up to that platform, or jump just as he's sort of reaching that platform ledge and allow the laser, there you go, exactly like that, to get deflected by the edge of that platform, and then he can jump across here. There is one more pickup that was available logically for Dedew down below when he went to check that ability cell. There is a little bit of a grenade puzzle with 2 frogs, and it is possible that the Gumon seal is hiding there. We'll see whether or not Evo decides to go digging and see whether or not it's in logic or just go directly to Forlorn for it. But I imagine with double jump, giving him that extra little bit of air stall and eventually triple jump in the blue side of the tree, he'll be able to get a lot more comfortable with his movement, not going to have to worry about taking so much damage in Sorrow, spending less ability points to do the zombie Ori strats if he so desires. So in my mind, knowing Evo as well as I do, I would imagine that at this point he might be checking a couple extra pickups just for, you know, a little bit of health resources for the final escape or something like that, but he's definitely capable of finishing the seed here. And Dedew, forgetting the experience over on the left side of the teleporter, again is not going to pick up Bash, which would certainly accelerate the seed here for him. He's going to be heading instead over to Swamp with the charge jump and stomp that he has in his back pocket. Putting it in logic, I don't mind the decision from this by Dedew at all. It's a heads-up play. You have the skills to be able to get here, so go and do it. Just kind of unfortunate that he's forgetting that one pickup that's just to the left of the teleporter that he's had access to, especially now that he's up onto 5 HP. Able to damage tank one drop down into the spikes there. We'll see whether or not he doubles back there to head back, maybe do some pickup checks in the Hollow Grove main area. In the meantime, does find another health cell, making things a little bit more comfortable for him, while Evo at the left side of your screen is going to be digging for that Sunstone, another health cell here on this pickup.
Yeah, he hasn't found anything too useful yet. The only noticeable thing might be the Grove teleporter, which I believe he already had. So besides resources, not too much here yet, but we know somewhere is the Sandstone in there, so he will definitely not miss any checks. And there's Glide, so I believe that is go mode for him. He
That
should
is
be
absolutely
comfortable.
100. Oh yeah, he's not going to have any problems with the rest of the seed now. He wants dash, but doesn't need it at all. Glide is going to make access to Sorrow absolutely free. Just needs to get this Sunstone, and then he's going to be on his way to unlock the location for the Waterbane clue off of his 9th tree. You think he's going to go Misty first, or is he going to go Charge Jump?
I believe he will go Charge Jump first, as it is fairly free. As you mentioned, Sorrow Pass is doable with Glide. It is the vanilla skill to do Sorrow Pass, and as Misty is fairly linear, you don't want to go in, realize that the clue is somewhere else, and then go there again. However, it is his 9th. No, it is his 8th tree next, so that is definitely going into consideration. He is going back into Forlorn, however. He might decide to do the escape. Oh wait, there's still the Sunstone to look for. I'm mistaken for that.
He's got the Sunstone to look for. He's got Stomping Grenade. Doesn't need to do the escape for the hint there. But it could be stomp locked on the right side, which is not a big problem. He does have stomp available. You'll notice sometimes if you watch enough randomizer, runners will use Frankies as a lure to be able to stomp pegs for us. But obviously, if you have stomp, you don't need it. And there are some locations that are just hard stomp locked, and the right side of Forlorn is one of those. There's no enemies available for you to lure. He's going to check the wind restored first and watch a somewhat lengthy cutscene here. In the meantime, Dedew, having finished the stomp tree on the right side of your screen and unlocking grenade jumps, is going to take another crack here over at grenade. Looks like he's going to set up for the zombie instead of the grenade jump, the finicky one that you were talking about earlier. Ducks underneath the lasers just to buy himself a little bit more time to head further left. Gets the late save, the 1 point ability expenditure. Actually, well, he spent 2 points, but only leveled 1 skill. And that is a very, very difficult timing window to hit. So good job for Dedew for absolutely nailing that. And we are going to find the Sunstone here on the right side of Forlorn for Evo very shortly. Just 2 more pickups to check, a plant and a health cell.
Yeah, Wind Restored, unfortunately, was only some XP, so he watched that cutscene. Well, not for nothing. It's information to know that it wasn't. And it's the last possible pickup. But now he got it, and he will probably head into Sorrow Pass next. We will see where he decides to teleport to.
Yeah, he does have Glide and Wind Restored, so Sorrow Pass at this point would be, from a skill standpoint, logical access for him. And as you alluded to, looking for the Water Vein clue does want to try and avoid Misty, just because Misty, unlike a lot of the other areas in the game, is a one-way trip. So if he goes to Misty first, doesn't have the Water Vein clue, it's entirely possible that the Water Vein could be hidden deeper in Misty, and that would force a second revisit. So he'd have to go through the entire first segment of Misty Woods once again. So he is jumping up into Sorrow here, checking a couple quick pickups along the way. Does need some keystones. Notably, he's got 1 more 4 keystone door coming up as he heads towards the charge jump tree, and then another 4 keystones that are going to be required once he does get the Water Vein and heads over to Ginzo. So these extra pickups here, even though he's in skill go mode, does need keystones to be able to finish out the seed. But from skill standpoint, absolutely very comfortable for Evo at this point. Not even placing a save, never mind. He makes me look like a fool, doubles back, and does place a save. Picks up Spirit Light Efficiency, which doubles the amount of experience that he's going to gain from any source of experience, whether it's from dropped enemies or from experience pickups themselves. And I like this play very much from Evo here. He sets up for the key dupe, thinking the exact same thing that I was just talking about. Rest assured, he is not listening into the commentary, but he does key dupe to get himself up to 8 keystones so that when he does go to Ginzo, he doesn't have to worry about digging for extra keys.
Meanwhile, on the right, Dedew is clearing up Forlorn. He won't find the Sunstone just yet, but he will find some more resources. And I believe double jump, wall jump was no. There was
Glide was
something.
here.
Glide was there, right? And that will be very useful to him as well. Although he might need to dig a bit deeper for that Sunstone. On the left, Evo is now going to the Valley of the Wind to go to the Misty Woods and collect his 3rd clue, the Water Vein clue, that he needs to pick up the Bash tree inside the Ginso tree. It's a treeception, basically, and he's setting up for a very nice grenade jump, gets it first try, and is now heading into Misty. This should be very easy for him. The only skill to speed this up is the one he's missing, but he has grenade jumps, he has glide. This should be fairly easy for him.
Yeah, very comfortable skill set for Evo. Dedew's going to be missing out on Bash for probably the entirety of the seed at this point, I would imagine. Also does not have double jump. His final escape is going to be significantly more difficult, but having Glide and Order Restored, probably a relief for him, gaining relatively easy access to Sorrow Pass, climb, charge up. He can break the ceiling there on the way to the tree itself. Wouldn't be too surprised if Dedew sees this as skill go mode and does not dig further for skills. He is going to drop back down into Forlorn, however. His keystone count looking alright. He's got 10 right now. We just need 2 more to be able to finish out the seed. In the meantime, you can see Evo left side of your screen is checking everything in Misty, as alluded to earlier. If the water vein happens to be here, does not want to double dip, so always safer to just check everything along the way before you get your clue, and then you can find out whether or not you have to go deeper into Misty Woods. Dedew opens up the keystone door and then Charge jumps away from the door so that the cutscene starts playing while the door is opening. A little bit of a nice optimization and time save there. We'll see whether or not he decides to go to the wind restored location first here, directly above him, or if he's going to go to the right side and get the sunstone. We are hoping he goes right side and gets the sunstone here first, because watching that cutscene is a feels bad man.
And it seems like he decides to do so, unless the laser scared him away now as he heads to the right. He is stomping that peg, so it will open up the right side for him, and he will find that sunstone in less than a minute, probably. Meanwhile, on the left, Evo is heading through Misty Woods, making quick progress of it, checking all the pickups he has available there, and we will now get the clue as to where the water vein is. And it's in Haru! Oh! What is
Okay.
this seed?
So, this is actually pretty bad news for Dedew. Bash makes navigating Horu significantly easier. Evo is going to be able to check everything in Horu, where there are going to be a few rooms in the dungeon that are going to be very difficult for Dedew to perform. He could get bailed out. The water vein could be in a pretty comfy location, one of the first 4 pickups surrounding the Horu teleporter, the Horu entrance, or it could be all the way up in R1, which is not quite hard bash locked. You can get up there with climb, charge, jump, and some damage boosting shenanigans and zombie oris and stuff, but it is very, 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 very difficult. So Dedew in a potentially tough spot here. Again, as mentioned, if the water vein is in a comfortable location, then he's completely fine. But if it's buried somewhere deep in the upper recesses of Horu, it's going to be difficult for him, that's for sure.
We should also mention that the final dungeon in the game, Mount Horu, was also slightly changed for the randomizer. Normally there is lava dripping all over the place. This has been removed in order to make access to the lower rooms a bit quicker, so you don't have to do the canonical order of the dungeon in order to check all the pickups. And in order to get to the final escape a bit sooner rather than later. So that is at least good news for the runner.
Evo doubling back to activate the swamp TP. There you do have to touch the teleporter in order for it to be activated, unless of course you find the associated randomized pickup. Dedew, in the meantime, we know that double jump is located here in Valley Entry, and it looks like he is in fact digging for more skills, perhaps. We'll see whether or not he places a save here and then traverses back. He's going to check the underwater pickup. It's just experience. So he's going to continue missing out on double jump. Probably. He is taking a bunch of damage here. At this point, he's just going to let the death happen so that he has full health for grenade jumping up here. Yep, so he's not going to get double jump. He's going to kill this slime and set up a grenade jump here on the left wall. And with this health, this is not very easy to do. He can only take 3 total hits, which is the more or less minimum that you have to take without a way to cancel your horizontal velocity. So pretty difficult position here for him. He did get the damage boost landed, but took an extra hit on the way down. Didn't quite have the iframes left over. We'll see whether or not he goes for the zombie here. Does have 5 ability points left and is possibly reluctant to do it. No, he's going to set up for it right now. Meanwhile, left side of your screen, Evo has checked some of the first couple pickups in Mount Horu, looking for that water vein. Is going to opt to kill the mini-boss to gain access to the affectionately known Validation XP. Worth noting, you do not actually have to pick it up to validate your run. It's just a meme from Link to the Past.
Yeah, it's basically the last pickup that you usually pick up if you decide to pick up, and it's in no way necessary. But he hasn't found the water vein just yet, which means he needs to go further into Mount Horu and dig for it, which could potentially be bad news for Dedew, because as you can see, Evo is just making heavy use of bashes. It's one of the most needed skills in this dungeon, and not having bash can be very hard, especially if the water vein ends up being in one of the higher rooms.
Yeah, to do skip double jump. Oh, he just got the save off in time before the spider shot sniped him and would have forced him to redo that section of damage boosting. Ooh, just take a look at this replay. Bottom right of your screen. Jumps up, gets hit there again, lands, places the save, and less than half a second later, the spider shot coming in. It's looking to spell doom, but to do having none of it in the meantime. Evo left side going to be checking this technically bashed locked pickup here, this experience orb, and the ensuing cutscene. A few different ways that you can route Mount Horu when you decide that you want to check a whole bunch of pickups, and you can just drop through the tumbleweed because it apparently doesn't exist. And we'll activate the cutscene now to do in the meantime. Well behind on trees here is going to get his feathers, still has charge jump. The bash tree, obviously, and climb left to go, depending on where this dungeon key falls, as much as it could be very difficult for Dedew to get to. Evo's routing here could also allow Dedew to come back into this race, depending on where the water vein actually is, and how Dedew ends up routing it when he eventually gets there. He is going to pick up the feather now, and in all likelihood with Glide Wind restored, just the same as Evo did, head up into Sorrow Pass first, so he doesn't have to double dip into Misty. Nice grenade jump to set up for some very quick vertical height, and he'll be entering Sorrow Pass here momentarily.
Yeah, meanwhile on the left, Evo still hasn't found the water vein yet. So he's making his way slowly up Mount Horu, checking the right side first. So to note, there are 8 rooms in Mount Horu, named commonly by L and R, depending on whether they are left or right, and then 1 through 4 from top to bottom. So he's making his way slowly up there, and yeah, he's riding this platform to avoid getting killed by these lasers. They are instant death, so you can't really go through them. Only with some slight tricks that are barely doable in this spot. So he is deciding to go the long way and push this boulder to stop the lava.
Dedew is also going to be setting up for the key dude here. He does have 10 keystones at the moment. Now he's going to open up the door and head on to the charge jump tree. Still no water vein for Evo. This room is a little bit slow just because of the auto scroller here, but it is one of the more quote-unquote pick up the dense locations in Horu. I don't mind this play at all as you head up on the right side. Generally speaking, the right side has more pick up dense areas to check than the left side does. We'll see whether or not he goes directly up to R1 or whether or not he's going to drop down and do some quick checks in, say, L4 or L3. It looks like he's going to float up in the air, take a couple projectiles here from these elementals and bash upwards. Seemingly, he does want to go directly to R1. Yes, he is bypassing R2 for the time being, which only has 1 pickup available to him. Going to have a Baneling here, blocking his way. Will he take the shot from the elemental? No, he's just going to break the wall with the elemental shot. Very nicely timed there. Wants to get the Baneling out of the way so that he can place a save, enter this door, and he's going to do a little bit of game storage here. A trick that he picked up from All Cells, no out of bounds. He's going to exit to menu and very quickly scroll wheel through the menu, activating game storage, effectively saving the state of having entered this room and allowing him to enter it without having to watch the entirety of the cutscene. In the meanwhile, Dedew right side does not have double jump, bypassed it in Valley entry, as mentioned, and it is R1 for the water vein. Dedew is going to have a very bad time when he goes digging in Horu for the water vein. That is an extremely difficult location to get to with his skill set.
He also just decided, or maybe forgot about it, he skipped the pickup in Misty. We, of course, know that the water vein is in R1 in Horu, but he does not know it, so maybe he just forgot about it, but that is totally fine. The map includes 256 pickups, and missing one of them can happen very quickly, but we see heavy use of grenade jumps, very nice to watch, gets them almost always first try. So yeah, Misty is fast for him. And on the left, we now see Evo with his water vein heading into Ginso tree, getting his final tree, and then he will probably head into the final escape. There's nothing else to do for him, so that will happen for sure.
Yeah, he's got everything he needs. Might go ahead and pick up Ultra Defense if he hasn't already, just to make things a little bit of extra comfort, but may not want to spend that time doing so. The dude is checking a couple pickups that are relatively quick to do here in Misty. We know it's not going to come back to bite him. Watervein's not here. Evo dropping through the portal puzzle room and is going to take this projectile and completely skip the block puzzle that you're supposed to do here. You can see the two blocks, one in the middle of the screen, one at the top left. You're supposed to shove them in particular places to get the projectile to bounce around or break open the door. But if you have Bash coming in here, you can just skip the whole thing. What mini-boss? I didn't see a mini-boss.
Yeah. And on the right, Dedew now also got his water vein clue. He frantically pointed his mouse at it, indicating that he's not happy about it because he does not have Bash probably. And he is now heading for Swamp. He's probably going into Horror, trying to get through it. And yeah, heavily using grenade jumps again. This is so nice to watch. Grenade jumps, as mentioned, are a very precise trick, and he nails them almost every time. So that is very great to see, and it's also saving him some time. Although at this point, it is really Evo's race to lose. He is heading for the final escape, and there shouldn't be any problem. He has 14 ability cells, so he should be able to skill Ultra Defense if he hasn't already. This final escape will be fast.
This is a really difficult grenade jump to set up for to do on the sheer basis that this elemental shoots very fast and can knock you off of the wall. So you have to jump up to this very particular spot and pretty much immediately nail your inputs. Does get it second try, because as it turns out, if you weren't trying, it wasn't first try. It's always first try every time, because you get it when you are actually putting in the effort. Does get the grenade jump here to open up Mount Horu and start his journey looking for the water vein as well. Worth noting, by the way, didn't mention this off the top of the broadcast, the preliminary format, as much as we're featuring two runners here today for you, is a free-for-all format in which we're going to have today, specifically, 15 entrants that are all racing against one another right now. And just to do a little quick recap on the format itself, racers do have to finish 5 total races, and their best 5 performances will determine their seeding. They can race more if they want. It will not make their seeding any worse. They can only improve it. And so some of the runners definitely opting to race more than 5 and try and push themselves up higher into the seeding. Evo, left side of your screen is through the majority of the final escape. Just has the grenade jump here left to go. Going to bounce off the wall to prevent climb storage from interfering with how this is going to happen. This cutscene here is about 1 minute and 20 seconds long. You can skip half of it if you get a grenade jump in from a very specific spot. And basically you just sail right over top of the trigger. Having a little bit of difficulty with this grenade jump, but it could be a first place finish overall if Evo can get this. No, Tritonite has just come in with a 49.25. A seed like this, perhaps not too surprising that it's been taking a lot of runners some time to finish, and Evo has decided, you know what, my hands aren't functioning right now. I am just going to walk across the cutscene and eat the extra 40 seconds rather than wasting more time trying to get the grenade jumps that just aren't quite working at the moment. Dedew is climbing the right side of Mount Horror, does have a couple pickups left here to check. We know he is in for a bad way. It's very fortunate for him that this has been a fairly resource-heavy seed. He's got 9 HP right now. Should be at the very least close to Ultra Defense, if not able to get it immediately. Nice grenade jump through the laser, by the way. Lasers are a suggestion in Ori. Some of them you can just skip with grenade jumps or dashes. Some of them you can duck under or zombie through. Half of a cutscene left here for Evo, as more runners are going to start filtering in here in short order, I imagine.
Yeah, 3 runners have finished now, and for Evo, it's just holding right at this point. It has been for the past 30 seconds, so this is definitely a GG to him. This was an interesting seed for sure, and as Dedew is heading through some more of horror, we can see no optimizations, but he is getting finished now with a 50 minutes 43 seconds time. This is great for such a seed, especially with 2 of the dungeon keys being in dungeons themselves. That is a rare sight to see. And we will see Evo also decides to do an interview, so we will see when we will bring him in or whether we want to wait for Dedew to finish.
Yeah, what Dedew is looking to do here is try and find a way to cancel his momentum so that he's not sailing through the second laser. If you tap glide, you will end up canceling your horizontal momentum to some degree, at least, even with these grenade jumps. And it would be able to slow him down and get in position to set up for checking that other pickup, but he has decided he has struggled quite enough, and he's going to continue on, which is good news for him. We know the water vein is not there. It is further up in Mount Horu. And Dedew dropping down, and ooh, yep, he's gonna bail out. He does not like the skill set for horror. He wants to find something else to deal with. I don't mind this play at all. It is a very, very, very atrocious way to try and get up to R1, where we know the water vein location is. The GG to Evo, finishing with a 50-43, as you mentioned, 2-kill, and we know what Dedew wants and where it is. Bash is over in Grotto to the left of the teleport. Double Jump is over in Valley Entry. We don't know where Dash is, and we don't know where Clean Water is, so funnily enough, Stomp is still out of logic. And Dedew did not check the Wind Restored pickup, so he's hoping that something is here.
We unfortunately know that he will only find XP there. He might actually decide to go outside of the Forlorn and check some more there, but we will see whether... Well, he's definitely searching for something, and unfortunately we know he won't find Bash for a long time, probably. And yeah, we will see how he will finish that seed.
Yeah, he may ought to just jump back in there into Mount Horu if he doesn't find anything here in short order. Joined in the meantime by the ineffable EVOrder. How you doing, man?
Hi, how's it going?
GG to you.
It is going. You had Sunstone and Forlorn and Water Vein and Mount Horu, and it was looking like it was going to be a G-jump seed possibly, and then you checked the pickup to the left of the Grotto teleporter and got Bash, which unfortunately Dedew is still missing.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. How much of a relief was it for you to find Bash there in Grotto?
Honestly, finding Bash wasn't really the big deal. I think my decision to go into Forlorn and finding Glide helped even more, because Sorrow was looking pretty scary. But yes, finding Bash helped immensely, but with grenade jumps, I wasn't really too afraid of getting places, so to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, you also... Sorry, go ahead, Tukil.
Yeah, you definitely had some great stuff this seed. I wanted to quickly ask about the start of the seed, where you decided to go through Iceless to get into the Moon Grotto. Why did you decide to do this out of sequence trick to get there? Or, yeah, what did you expect to find in Grotto?
Honestly, I expected to find pretty much nothing. It was all in logic anyway, so it wasn't necessarily sequence breaking, it's just skipping the loop. And the loop is not nearly as dense as Grotto, and there's also a tree in Grotto, so I can effectively clear out all of those more quickly and then get the tree and kind of move on from there.
Yeah, definitely a very heads-up play, and it definitely played out nicely for you.
Yeah, unfortunately I did miss Swamp Teleporter because of that, but what do you do? It's not too far out of the way.
Yeah, well, you did double back for it as you were heading to the Mount Horu after getting the Sunstone. You did pick it up, so it didn't really cost you a whole lot in the way of time on that front, I don't feel. So, a whole bunch of runners kind of finished in short order here. You were right on the heels of Tritonite, currently probably the favored runner at the moment. He is certainly going to take top seed here. He's had a perfect 5-0 in the preliminaries, so he's going to have 5 points to take the number 1 seed, unless somebody else comes in and tries to shoot for a tiebreaker there. But what's your feeling on just being that close to such a high level player in a race like this?
I would say if I'm that close to him, my routing was probably better because I know his movement is absolutely better than mine. Had I not zoned out in, what was it, Grove? Trying to go over Grove Teleporter, and had I gotten that first grenade jump at the end there, I might have actually beaten him and gotten first. So I was really, really happy with my routing, but my grenade jumps are very inconsistent, unfortunately, so I think that's something I'm going to have to work on.
Yeah, but you definitely did some nice ones, and I have another question regarding the seed, if you mind. What did you think of the Sunstone being in Forlorn, and after that, what did you think of Waterwane being in Horror?
Water Vein and Horror always sucks. Sunstone and Forlorn isn't that bad, or at least it wasn't this time around because I had a quick means to full clear it. It being stomp locked was a little bit of a troll, but again, seeing that it was in Forlorn and that I could full clear it was definitely a massive help because it found glide for me as well. So that wasn't a problem. And I should know at this point, Watervein in Horu always means check R1 first.
It's always R1,
That's-
even when it's not R1.
Even when it's not, just check that first because it's going to be there anyway.
Quick
Alright.
check-in on Dedu. He finally was able to skill Ultra Defense, which will make his Horror a bit quicker, and he should be able to find his Water Vein fairly soon.
Yeah, he's gonna set up for a grenade jump here to try and get further up onto the right side. Is getting bullied by this elemental, knocking the platform out of the way even. Elemental, don't be a jerk. He is gonna kill this slime here. Rekindle the save. No, he's gonna go and head off to the left first. I don't mind this with his skill set. Obviously, getting the R1 is just absolutely obnoxious. There's only the one pickup in this room, but he has everything he needs to be able to check it fairly quickly. Evo, feel free to hang out with us if you want. If you want to take off, that is okay too.
Yeah, well, if you're done with me here, then I think I will go ahead and take a break, kind of wind down. A race always gets me nervous, and being featured on the restream makes it even worse.
Fair enough. All right, man. Thanks for popping in and talking with us. You take care.
All right, well, thanks for having me. Thanks for giving me the opportunity to restream, and I'm having a lot of fun with the tournament so far. Have a good morning.
Thanks, man.
GG.
All right, so Dedu has finished clearing out this L2 room, setting up for another grenade jump to traverse back across without getting bullied by the elemental. Does do exactly that. Is going to check R2 possibly. No, he's thinking about it. He wants to place a save, get a little bit more health, and then probably do that again. Just max out on his HP before dipping in there. Oh, he does drop in there maybe to check, try and remember what room it was. Not too sure. Setting up low on this wall, wants to get the grenade jump up as high as possible and hopefully grab onto those spikes, but does not quite do it. Does have a nice little spike platform there that he can land on, and it looks like that's the option that he's possibly going to go for now. This is really hard. Like, I cannot stress enough. He did go digging for a few resources to get more ability points so that he could get ultra defense and make this easier. But easier is in big fat air quotes. It's even with ultra defense, it's just straight up not fun. But it is going to pay off for him. We know that once he gets through here successfully, he is going to find the water vein relatively easily accessible at the I believe map stone pickup behind the diving spike platform.
That he picked up Ultra Defense in that case could be a backdraw though, because he now has exactly 0 ability points, and those are needed to perform a trick, to perform the zombie Ori, which he now can't do. So he has to get across those spikes basically perfectly in order to make it up, and can't just place a save on the spikes, turning him into a zombie. So that is not making things easier. Okay, yes, he does get less damage from the spike, but it's still he's still basically a 4-hit for them. And as you can see, that spike area is huge. Although he's so close to finishing this trick, we will see him probably go for it a few more times. So let's wish him luck for that trick. This is really hard what he's doing right now.
Yeah, he almost had it there. He went to try and land on a higher spike platform, and it ended up clipping into the side of it and dropping back down and taking extra damage. He kind of wants to drop down on the right side of that wall, and then charge jump up and take a damage boost off of the elemental or stomp the elemental to gain a little bit of extra height. Unfortunately, just not having the luck. There's a little bit of RNG in terms of how you get damage boosted off the spikes. Also, we are going to have to let him know that he can respawn these elementals if he just heads off to the left. I don't think he's aware of that because he's placing saves here to refill his health. And as it turns out, if you go towards the door, the elementals respawn. You don't have to kill specific elementals in this room. You just have to kill a certain amount of elementals. And so, respawned or not, it doesn't matter. Nice little cheese to be aware of, and I myself wasn't aware of it until maybe about a year ago, and I've been playing Randover coming up on 3 years now, so lots of those little small bits of knowledge, tips, and tricks that make things a little bit easier. On the plus side, once he does clear a few more of these out, he's just a few moments away, experience points away from another level up, which will give him the opportunity to do at least one zombie Ori heading to R1, but it will have to be a very carefully managed one. There's the level up, and he is going to not pick it. He has seen an elemental respawn there. I don't know if he quite clued into the ramifications. Gets the grenade jump up top, so now he'll be able to clear them all out anyway. That is also very difficult and very well done by Dedew.
Yeah, he's using his charge flame right here to redirect that projectile. That is another way of doing that without having bash. And he's making good progress here, even without knowing the trick to destroy these elementals. So props to him for doing this. This is quite a hard trick, and he's managing it very well.
Yep, and he's just got these two elementals left. He's going to try and bait the shot out here by jumping just over top and then doing the charge flame redirect, floating down, getting the bait there and the redirect there. Thankfully, the redirect is more or less a 180 in that particular instance with charge flame, so does manage to get it done. Is going to stomp down this rock and activate the cutscene and another pickup, which he will be very sad about not being the water vein. Want to update you on the progress for the rest of the racers. As mentioned, Tritonite finished first with the 49.25. Vermilio's directly in behind him with the 50.14. Liftoff 50.27 in third place. One of our featured runners here, Evo, finishing fourth with the 50.43. Fubio behind him in fifth with the 53.26. Cleanfell with the 56.13. Good for sixth place. Appletree 57.17 for seventh. Matter Monkey 59.43 for eighth, and Sunny Muffin 102.27 for ninth. Still have Covert Muffin, obviously our other featured runner here, Dedew, Guard, Renaissar, Rufus, and Arrow Razor currently in progress for a total of 15 race entrants. And Dedew is going for an extremely difficult grenade jump to get to the other side of this room in Mount Horo. You are intended to have bash here. I don't know exactly what the targeting window is in terms of pixels here, but it is, suffice it to say, extremely precise and most definitely way out of logic for him with the skill sets that he has. But I don't think he wants to go digging for more skills, and I took him a surprisingly low amount of attempts to be able to pull that off. That is not easy. Good job by Dedew for getting that done. You can see him there on the replay just sailing right past the lanterns and then killing the Frankie so that he can place a save. He's going to have to escape this fire, though, with another grenade jump and very carefully positioning low on this wall. That's an instant kill spike, I think. Yeah, he's not going to be able to get out of here. I don't think. I can't think of a way anyway, not without double jump to get out of here.
Yeah, this is definitely very hard. We will have to see if he maybe decides to go for another save of this, but I'm not sure where the last autosave of Ori might be, and he isn't sure as well. He will try that trick a few more times, probably. Hopefully, he will get it, and he decides to Alt R. So, phew. That was a hard trick. I mean, it wasn't that pickup, so he does not have to get back into that room. He is teleporting back into Haru. Obviously, this is the one thing he needs to do right now to finish the seed. He needs to find the water vein, then go to the bash tree, and then he can head to the final escape.
Yeah, I don't know if you can cheese that with returning to spawn and then coming back into the room. I've actually never tried it, so we're going to find out here in short order. And it appears as though the lava is not progressing. There is a door warp that you can do here as well to go down to the bottom. Looks like Dedew is trying to see if he can... Oh,
Whoa.
no, it is! You can cheese it, okay. Knowledge acquired, thanks Dedew.
Well, that is definitely some very specific knowledge, and Dedew showed it off very nicely. Today I learned that this trick is possible, so this will give him access to one more pickup that we know is not the water vein, unfortunately.
Yeah, you know, I honestly don't know. I'm gonna have to check the tournament rules here real quick, because that is kind of on the borderline as far as things that you're allowed to do.
Oh yeah, that's true. Normally Alt R is just used to get you to the start, not to cheese any kind of things. May it be XP going to you and a timed level up, may it be the lava appearing here. So we will have to see. It could be decided on a one-to-one case. Yeah. Hopefully it will count for him, but obviously it's... Huh.
Alright, I've got the tournament rules up here. You may not use Altar in such a way that takes advantage of any game state that would not persist through an immediate save and reload. So I do believe that is actually against tournament rules by that phrasing.
Oh, that is unfortunate. And I'm not sure how the rules would apply. Could we... Is he allowed to finish right now, or is that... Well, I guess a finish run wouldn't count then, and... that is unfortunate. He did such a nice job with the seed, given the things he has. We will see. He's trying for those spikes again, but doesn't quite get it. That
Okay,
is...
hold on. I'm gonna let him know in the race chat
Yeah.
here.
I mean, it could also be a saving grace. We don't know for how much longer he would do this trick, and having the knowledge that he doesn't need to do it might be just...
Okay,
might be actually a good thing.
So we got some clarification here from tournament organizers. Having loaded an earlier save to come back up here to R2, he puts himself back in a valid game state. So pretty sure that he's okay to go here.
Very good.
That's good to know.
And he got up here. He finally got to that ledge, so that is very nice to see. He's waiting for his soul link so he can get some more HP back. And yeah, he will just go dive on spikes to make his soul link recharge faster, just to regain his full health again.
Yeah,
And...
we'll continue investigating the state of that. By the way, like he should be fine here as far as tournament validation goes. It's just one of those things that doesn't really come up a whole lot. So I believe because the game state of the lava continuing to pursue would persist after a save and reload, it would be allowable, but we'll get clarification from tournament organizers for the future, because that's not something that comes up very often at all.
Yeah, he's trying for that second half of the spike corridor, trying to get a micro ledge on those spikes so he can charge jump up there. Doesn't quite get it. That is some this one pickup close to the teleporter is really what is taking all the time here for Dedew. Would he have gotten bashed? This would be no problem, as these elementals shoot these projectiles he could bash off. But this is, even getting up to that point is incredible in my opinion, and just trying to continue here is a great thing to do. He could also just decide to forfeit that race and give up, but he's deciding to continue on, maybe showing off some more grenade jumps. He's deciding to head into another room. Oh,
Unfortunate for him. Well, obviously, we know the water vein is up there. He did make a backup save, so that he can return quickly to that mapstone altar if he does not find the water vein and further checks here. This is also going to be very difficult for him to do because no bash. I think if he had dash, this would be doable. He'd be able to rocket jump up there. But I have not seen it done. We'll put it that way. I've not seen it done with this skill set to be able to climb this room. So the dude's got a couple options available to him here. He can either continue trying to damage boost his way up to R1, or he can go and back out and look for more skills to try and get easy. Like, even if he had double jump, which we know is in Valley entry, it would be so much easier for him to set up for a damage boost. Just getting that extra little bit of air stall makes such a significant difference. And he just doesn't have it. When he went through Valley entry to gain access to the left side of the map, it was a pickup that he just didn't check.
we now got confirmation that
yeah.
he indeed forfeited the race. He decided to not play it, which is very valid with those two core skills missing here. This is we saw him attempt it for a good 20 minutes, and it's props him for trying that long. I would have given up after 5 minutes, that's for sure.
Looks like he is ready for a quick chat, so we'll bring him in. And Dedew, it is with much chagrin and regret that I inform you that Bash was the experience to the left of the Grotto teleporter.
Wait, did I never get it?
You did not check it, no.
Oh no. Feels bad, man.
yeah. We were talking to you before the race and not getting randoed. Unfortunately, randoing yourself is something that can happen, and I don't think if the water vein was R1, you probably would have been okay.
Yeah.
But it's positioned in like the worst possible location for you to get to without bash and without double jump, and it is just it's really rough. That said, besides all of that, how did you feel that you were performing throughout the course of the seed and the way that you had things routed?
Early game was pretty bad. I died a lot, my execution wasn't the best. And I wasn't really happy with the routes I chose. But mid-game was good, I think. When I decided to go for trees and when I had grenade jumps, that was fun.
Was glide
then,
kind
yeah.
of the signifier for you to head left side?
Yeah, glide definitely, because I could do thorough easily and everything else. But yeah, bash. I tried to do my best in Mount Haru, but since whatever in was the R1, there was nothing I could do. Maybe if I had double jump or like quad jump or something, would have been possible, but yeah, I don't think it's possible with this skill set.
Very difficult at the very least.
I tried at least.
Yeah, and props to you for doing that. That is hard as all heck, and for even going for it without doubling back to try and dig for skills, like, props to you, man.
I mean, I didn't know where to search, so there were pickups everywhere, so I didn't know. So I just went for it.
Yeah, those grenade jumps you showed were pretty entertaining though. So even though the horror was horrible, you did a great show. How long did you actually train to do those grenade jumps that precisely and that perfect almost every time?
It's probably like because of all skills. I have a mid 29 in all skills, so I've practiced grenade jumps a lot for the speedruns. So yeah, that's probably why.
Yeah, that was very cool to
Okay.
watch.
So I was playing on controller like last tournament, then I switched to KBM between the last, like right after the last round of the tournament in like 2018. So I've also been doing a lot of grenade jumps and getting used to KBM since then.
Yeah, that definitely helped. And unfortunately, it didn't quite help enough in this seed, but that was still very entertaining to watch and definitely understandable that you decided to not go further into this seed. So GG's to you still.
Yeah, one of the reasons I just went straight into Oru hoping to find Water Vein was that I have like 2 very good games in the preliminaries. Oh, that's impossible to say. Like 1 medium game and then 2 bad games. So I know that I really want to go for good games. So if I wanted to have a good result, I just had to go for it.
Well, good news on that front. This weekend is jam-packed with prelims for you to be able to catch up on. That's 11 a.m. Eastern, 2 Eastern, and 6 Eastern, both Saturday and Sunday, 6 total preliminary matches. Plenty of opportunity for you to be able to push your seed higher.
Yes, I don't know if I'm gonna join all of them, but probably like a few, like maybe like 3 or 4. That's enough already. Enough rando.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I feel that. You don't want to burn yourself out heading into brackets either, I imagine.
Yeah, but I also need to de-rest it a little bit because I haven't been that good on execution lately. So I haven't played rando in like since basically the last rando tournament. I'm just getting back into it right now. So I need to get used a little bit to the 3.0, like the, yes, to the
Yeah.
3.0 logic, and yeah, and getting used to doing all the tricks I used to do on controller on KBM.
Mm-hmm. Yep, always difficult when you're switching input methods. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Dedew. So sorry about the bash location there, but good luck in the rest of your prelims this weekend, man. Thanks.
Thanks.
Alrighty, so it is Evo taking the race off of Dedew between the featured runners. Evo finishing with a 50-43, and Dedew understandably doing the DNF as more prelims are available for him heading up to this weekend. A reminder on the formatting on that: the racers need to finish 5 total preliminary races in order to be able to qualify for the brackets, and only their best 5 finishes are going to be taken into consideration. So Dedew's status in this particular race is probably not going to have an impact at all. So good news for that. And remember, again, we will see you here on the SpeedGaming network of channels for 6 preliminary races this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, as mentioned just a few moments ago. 11, 2, and 6 o'clock Eastern. My name is Shafe, been joined alongside 2Kill for commentary, and we'll see you again tomorrow for more Ori and the Blind Forest Randomizer Tournament action.
Goodbye. Have a nice evening, everyone, or rest of your day.